Do you ever sit and wonder if you missed out on Mr. or Mrs. Right? What if one of your exes was actually your soulmate? Would you try and go through all of them again to try and reconnect? I would maybe watch this movie first before trying that. This is 2011's What's Your Number? Spoiler alert, while I might be giving you my opinion on the film, that's no substitute for watching it for yourself. Links to the film are in the description. And for those of you that need to hear this is just a movie. All stunts are for the sake of story, and shouldn't be attempted on your own. Viewer discretion is advised. We start off by seeing Allie waking up beside her boyfriend Rick, but she's trying to sneak around without him waking up. When she gets to the bathroom, she freshens up. And when I say freshen up, I mean she does her entire bathroom routine. I get this is to make her seem perfect when he wakes up, but I'd be more concerned about her waking up and not brushing her teeth now. He doesn't know that she already did that. For all he knows, she wakes up with makeup on and doesn't brush her teeth. When she gets back into bed, Rick wakes up and compliments her for how she looks in the morning. She gets up and makes breakfast for him, and he stops to eat for a moment. This is where Allie asks him to be her date to her sister's wedding. But Rick thinks that the whole thing is a little serious. Of course, Allie thinks that things are serious considering how the night before went. But this ends with her showing Rick to the door. He lets her know that if she ever wants to just hook up, she can call him, but it looks like Allie's had enough of him. At the same time, a naked Colin walks out of his apartment to get the mail, and his girlfriend can be heard calling him back to bed. After a friendly wave to Allie, he closes the door and Allie does the same. I'm sorry, naked Captain America lives across the hall, and do you mean to tell me that Allie still picked New Generation Spock? Come on now. Later, Allie heads out and calls her sister, Daisy, to tell her about how things ended with Rick. Daisy claims that she could have called all of this, but Allie's just tired of not meeting the right man. Eventually, Allie gets to the office, and she rushes to her desk. Then her boss Roger calls her into his office and he promptly fires her. When she asks who else is getting cut, she's a little torn up to find out that she's the only one. But she doesn't put up a fight. She simply packs her box and heads for the subway. On the train, she flips through a magazine, and she comes across an article that mentions the average number of men women have been with is 10.5. That's low in her opinion, and she decides to make a list of her numbers. I'm gonna do something risky here. What do you think the average number is nowadays, since this was over a decade ago? She continues making her list as she does her evening routine, then she heads to her sister's wedding dinner. Her mother Ava greets her, and Allie already looks prepared to deal with criticism. She's not wrong either. Her mother immediately questions where Rick is and why she isn't wearing the dress she bought her. When Allie goes upstairs, she checks on her sister who's a nervous wreck. But after comforting her, she realizes that her number is actually 19. Well, it turns out that her solution is to get drunk upstairs before going downstairs for the toast. When called up to toast Daisy, she walks up with her bottle of champagne, and she makes a very interesting toast that ends with her calling the groom the D-bag from high school and breaking some random guy's glasses. Allie goes out with Daisy and her bridesmaids that night to a bar, and Allie runs into Roger there. He buys her a bottle for her table, and she goes back to have the women play a little game of What's Your Number? Are any of you really expecting this to go that well? One of the girls even misreads the paper for Allie and assumes that her number is 91. After reading that most women that reach 20 end up not finding a husband, Allie toasts to a promise that her number 20 is going to be her husband. Well, after another wild night, she wakes up in bed with Roger, and she rushes to the bathroom to call Daisy. After realizing that Roger's a nasty finger sniffer, she knows that he isn't the one. Allie assumes that Roger will just be on his way, but he actually makes himself at home and thinks that they'll go out again that night. Just then, Colin knocks at the door and comes in because he locked himself out of his apartment and he needs to use a phone. Colin makes up a lie to get her out of seeing Roger that night, and Allie notices that a woman's coming out of Colin's apartment as she says goodbye to Roger. Now that she knows that Colin's lying about being locked out, she just assumes that he's another pig, and Colin goes on his way. Later, when Allie meets up with Daisy to taste test cakes for her wedding, Allie runs into an ex named Donald. I laughed out loud here. Donald's played by Chris Pratt, and he was married to Anna Faris up until 2018. Here he plays an ex that used to be so fat that she was ashamed to take him out. But now he looks great. Ever run into an ex and wonder why you got them at the time you did? It turns out that Donald is there with his fiancée, and he actually introduces her as his old friend. When she leaves with Daisy, she can't believe that he seemed embarrassed, and Daisy explains that a lot of men get better with age. This leads Allie to looking up her old exes to see if they got better with age too. She heads home and does her own FBI work until she drinks herself to sleep. When she wakes up, she finds Colin getting the mail naked again, and she asks him to help her find the men. After getting him to help her, Allie goes to see Daisy try on her wedding dress. All of the bridesmaids think that the dress is to die for, but Allie's more interested in the fact that Colin actually managed to find one of her exes. It's actually more mind-boggling that she doesn't know where any of her exes are. I'm not saying I stalk any of my exes, but I definitely know at least the town a couple of them are in. You actually have to actively try to avoid knowing that with the way social media is now. It turns out that Colin found Dave, who's the magician that she dated. That night, Allie meets up with Colin at a bar to find out that Dave is still a failed bartending magician, and she immediately leaves the bar. Colin follows after her and finds out that this has a lot to do with how she doesn't want to raise her number. But she hates the fact that the decent guy she's looking for don't think she can be their ideal girl if her number's too high. The next day, Allie finds out that Colin set up social media for her, and they eat dinner at his apartment while he tells her the progress he's made. Some of them are married already, but they find one that's getting a divorce. When they go to the open house, they meet Simon. And apparently, Allie had used an accent when they dated. When Allie starts talking with a fake British accent, my face was the same as Colin's. There's no way this is going to end well. And sure enough, she changes her accent 4 times over the course of some drinks. Just a heads up, if you gotta fake who you are that much, you're dating the wrong person. That night, Allie and Colin meet up to eat on the roof, and they go over the next possibilities. After crossing out a few more, they end up going with Jerry Perry, the puppeteer. That would have been a hard no from me. Puppets are too weird. What's even funnier is that she lost her virginity to Jerry Perry and his puppet. Imagine telling people that. Later, Allie goes to have lunch with Daisy, and she finds out that her mother's coming. Daisy wants to break the news of inviting her father to the wedding, so she invited Allie as a buffer. Well, that didn't go well as they had hoped, and Allie turns her attention to flying to Miami to meet up with a gynecologist ex. When she gets to his office, she acts like she's wearing sexy lingerie. But when he comes in, he has no idea who she is. It's only after looking at her downstairs anatomy that he remembers her. Allie isn't sure that him recognizing her by down there is a good thing, and I was just going to say that. She wants to get it checked out, but her getting checked out by a gynecologist is exactly why this happened. What do you do from there? Colin's willing to investigate, but Allie pulls them back on topic. He tells her that he found Tom, who's now a senator's aide, and she heads out to get clothes that would be appropriate. When she gets back to her apartment, she finds that Daisy's there waiting for her, and Colin's next to her in his underwear playing a guitar. She's had quite enough of this and she leaves. Allie explains that she's going to run into Tom and get ready for an interview the next day. When it comes time to run into Tom, she causes quite a stir in the library, and Tom is so happy to see her. And wouldn't you know, it's the Falcon. We've got Captain America and the Falcon in one movie. Is there anyone else I missed? Bilbo and Star-Lord were there earlier too. That night, Allie gets a dress as a present, and she assumes that it's from Tom. When she goes to the party with him, it goes so well that he asks her to marry him. But she finds out something else. He just wants her to be his beard. To top it off, he tells her that he wouldn't have found out he was gay if it wasn't for dating her. Ooh, that's a self-esteem crusher depending on who it's with. When she gets home, she's so depressed by this venture, but Colin manages to cheer her up by showing off her work, playing a song for her, and pizza and beer. When she takes a second to think, she gets upset again when she realizes that she has to go to her sister's wedding without a date now. But Colin agrees to go with her. To top off the evening, Colin takes her to Madison Square Garden to play some strip horse, and Allie really shows off her hidden talent. In no time at all, they're almost naked and playing one-on-one. Just when the guard came in, they leave, and their next adventure is to skinny dip in the harbor. Apparently, this is not a great idea because it's really cold, but they end up having a good time. When they get back to her apartment, they start to get it on, but Allie tells him that she has to slow things down. That doesn't stop him from kissing her all night until they pass out. In the morning, Allie wakes up holding his face and she freaks out. After realizing that she's late to meet Daisy for more planning, she grabs a phone off the nightstand, kisses Colin goodbye and goes to meet them. When she tells Daisy and the bridesmaids about Tom, they worry for her, but she assures them that she's going to be bringing Colin to the wedding. None of them seem too excited about that, but Allie sticks to it. When she gets home, she notices a text come through on Colin's phone. When Colin gets to her apartment, she asks him if he got any info on that number, and he lies right to her. After a big blow-up, Allie makes sure he knows that this is over. The two of them part ways, and Allie gives her ex, Jake, a call. That evening, Allie goes out to eat dinner with Jake, and she's immediately blown away when he shows up. I'm not gonna lie, if anyone would give me red flags, it would definitely be this guy. He's too perfect. This is the really successful guy that can do whatever shady thing he wants and could bury it within a heartbeat. Well, the date goes great, and Allie goes to meet Daisy to tell their dad that he doesn't have to go to the wedding. That doesn't go how it's supposed to, so they go to their mom's house to break the news to her. But when they get there, their mom pulls out a magazine that has a picture of Jake and Allie at dinner. Allie goes along with the idea that they're an item, and their mom couldn't be happier for her. As time goes on, Allie continues seeing Jake, but she starts to realize that she has to pretend to be the person that works well with him. When it comes time for Daisy's wedding, Allie gets ready to leave, but Colin's leaving at the same time. When she finds out that he's going to another wedding, she tries to ask if it's with someone, but he makes sure to tell her that it's not something she should worry about. He's not wrong. After some of the things she said to him during their last encounter, I'd say that there's no need to be cordial anymore. Poor thing. At the wedding, everyone loves the exchanges that the bride and groom share with each other, and Daisy's married without a hitch. During the reception, Allie's father tries to make sure she does what makes her happy, but Jake interrupts to ask her to come with him for 6 months internationally. He tells her that her sculptures can wait, and the only thing keeping her there is him. When she gets pulled up to toast her sister, Allie makes a realization that Daisy's so happy with Eddie because she can completely be herself. Once she's done, she takes Jake into a private place to explain that she doesn't think they're perfect for each other. Allie heads out to do what makes her happy, but her mother stops her when she notices Jake leaving. I'm a jobless whore who slept with 20 guys, and I want to be with somebody who appreciates that about me. I don't know about you, but I couldn't imagine someone telling their mother that, especially in front of a crowd. More power to her, though. She is what she is, and she's proud of it. At the same time, Allie tries to tell their mother that the perfect one is Daisy, but Daisy pops up and tells them that she's 4 months pregnant. And with that, Allie heads out to find the wedding that Colin's attending. Allie goes around town crashing weddings, and even shows up at Donald's wedding. Eventually, Allie finds the right wedding, and she sneaks in as he plays and sings for the reception. She manages to get him away from the stage, and she apologizes. They both agree that they handled things wrong. They tell each other that they love each other, and they kiss. Back at Allie's apartment, she gets a strange call from someone that she thought she had slept with. And he explains that she only gave him a weird hand job before throwing up in his suitcase. After hearing this, Allie celebrates because that means Colin is her number 20. And the credits roll. You can't really go wrong with Anna Faris. And Chris Evans playing something other than Captain America is refreshing. Give it a shot. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more like this one. Comment what you think I should watch next, and I'll see you in the next video.